Today I'm going to show you how to use Google Forms to create a self-grading rubric. In your Google Docs homepage, you'll need to click Create Form. Once that opens up, you'll need to title it and put in your student identification questions. So now I've got my student identification questions in, period, first name and last name. And I'm going to need to put in the first question from the rubric. So I'm going to click Add Item, and I'm going to make it a multiple choice question because the way it works with yes or no questions. And so I'm going to type in yes and no. Now later on we're going to be going to page based on answer, but I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. Let's go take a look at the rubric. So I'm in my rubric here, and I have three categories, one for each row: haikus, theme paragraph, and illustrations. And the way this works is simply going to be answering yes and no questions about each of these. So you look at this and say, did they meet all this criteria? If it's yes, then I want it to go to this question. Then look at this, and if this is yes, it would go to this question. So ideally, they would have a perfect paper. They would answer yes to these three questions, and you would be done. However, if they didn't meet the criteria of this question, the answer is no, they did not meet this, then it would go to this question right here and ask, did they meet this criteria? If this is no, it goes to the next question, and if they say yes, it goes down to this next row here, the very first question here. And these are worth in descending value. If they get down to this last one right here, this question right here should direct them to the next row. So I'm back in my form. I've entered in my question. I'm going to make it a required question because we don't want anybody skipping any questions. And we're going to click Done. Once we've entered in our first question, we need to start entering in page breaks. So because from now on, each question is going to be followed by a page break. So I'm going to select page break from the Add Item, and I'm going to title this the category of my first row, and then I need to add another multiple choice question and enter in the second question in that very first row. So let's do this. Yes, no, go back to my rubric, copy this. By the way, while I'm thinking about it, the very last question should only have one option. They should only be able to say yes. They should not be able to say no to this question. They need to say yes, and it will take them to the next question. So I'm going to go back here, paste that text in, make it a required question, click Done. Once again, enter in another page break, and I'm going to go all the way through my rubric, inserting page breaks, question, page break, question, page break, question, until I've entered in all of the questions from the rubric. Once you're finished entering in all the questions from your rubric, you go back to the very first question in the rubric and open it up to edit. Here's where you're going to click on Go to Page Based on Answer. This will open up some options here. For all of the no questions, you will leave it as Continue to Next Page. What you do here, where it says yes, you need to have it go to the next row. And so when I put in the page break before that question, I titled it Theme Paragraph. That is the title of the next row. That makes it just a little bit easier for me to find. So I'm going to have it go to page 7, click Done. Then I need to go to the next question, and I need to have it go to Page Based on Answer, have it also go to page 7, and click Done, and repeat this all the way down through this row. Keep in mind that when you get to the last question in a row, that is only going to have one option, that is yes, and we just want it to continue on to the next page. So we'll just leave that alone because it's obviously the next page is page 7, and we just can click Done. And then we repeat the process with the next couple of rows until we are done with the entire rubric. Once you have set this so that all the questions are directed so that it will flow through the rubric smoothly, you then want to be able to grade this. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to set up a script called Flubaroo. In order to do that, I need to be in the spreadsheet view. So I'm going to go up here where it says See Responses, and I'm going to change the view to Spreadsheet, and it will put this in. Now notice I've already put in an answer key. It does not come with an answer key, but I'm going to put this in, and I just title answer key. And the correct answer for each of these is yes. That's how we want it to grade. I've already inserted the Flubaroo script. I'm going to show you how to do that by clicking Insert, Script. Once that opens up, you type in Flubaroo. You could search for it in education, but it's pretty much easier to find just to type it in and install the script. Once it installs, it will appear here in the title bar right here, and so you can select Flubaroo, and then you can choose to grade the assignment. So in order to grade the assignment, I'm going to go to a rubric that I've already used and has a number of student entries already in, and I'm going to click Flubaroo. The first thing that pops up is identifies the types of questions, and it's pretty good at identifying the student information questions, such as what period, name, and then it asks each question, and I can assign it a point value. Now these questions go in descending order, so my very first question is worth 5 points, the second question is worth 4 points, the third item in the rubric is 3 points, and so on. So I'm just going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I start again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Once you've entered all those in, press continue, and it may sometimes take a couple of minutes for this process, so you just wait patiently. The next thing that will happen is it will ask you which is the correct answer. That's why I titled it answer key, so I could find out what the correct answers are that I want. So I'm going to click select and continue. It will then grade the assignment, and it may take a minute or two to finish up. Once Flubaroo is done grading, you may find that these icons up here are grayed out and not useful. If you simply refresh your browser, it'll bring them back to life. Now, most of the time, if you use Flubaroo to grade a Google Form quiz, you can rely on the percentages. But the percentages here do not work with this, using this as a rubric. You want to rely on the total points, because this rubric is only going to be worth 15 points. Remember, each of these is worth 5 points. There are only 3 rows, so you want to set it as a ratio of their total points compared with the total possible points. So, for instance, Kevin earned 14 out of 15 points. So obviously that is not 31%. And that's how you create a rubric with Google Forms that grades itself for you.